Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. We have special guest today is Jim Ciccarello, head girls track and field coach at La Cueva High School, and I'm telling you, I'm almost flabbergasted just to be here. I'm excited just because this is a 10-year program that you and I've trying to get together and did, but we're here together.
Well, we talked about me coming down and having a little chat with you, and it finally happened. And we've both been busy. I've been watching the show for a long time, and I've been on some other shows. This is my first time with Big Steve, and it's kind of an exciting day.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't know you were a head coach, and you just kind of
Really?
until you kept bringing about track. I was more into the jump roping, but. Let people know, because I don't know you, okay? I mean, I know all about you, but I don't really know. Give me some history of, how you got to Albuquerque and how you got to where you are today.
First of all, I want to say that one thing about this jump rope team is that I am finding more and more people are interested in the jump rope aspect of my athletic career in New Mexico. And they love to watch little kids. And most of the time, they'll see the little kids at a New Mexico Lobo game halftime show. And I got started working with kids way back in Jersey City, New Jersey, in the late 1940s. I had a PE teacher back in Jersey that would take us to track meets in New York City, and we would practice our relay handoffs with wooden sticks, and we'd run around the gymnasium, and then he'd take us over there and run. And I loved my PE teacher, and Mr. D'Angelo, and he got me excited about athletics, and started in track and field. And then when I became an adult, I certainly wanted to be a elementary phys ed teacher. So I was 45 years an elementary phys ed teacher. I moved to New Mexico in 1958. 1958, and I went to Valley High School.
I was 2 years old.
Well, we all got to start somewhere.
That's amazing. You bring 58 up, but go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, I moved to the North Valley. My mom's brother was in the Army during World War II, and he relocated to Albuquerque because he was out of Sandia base for a while. And we were looking to restart. My mom and dad and the whole family got on a Greyhound bus, and I had never been outside the New York City area my whole life, and all of a sudden we're on a bus in Indiana, and my nose is at the window looking at farms and animals all the way to New Mexico. And I had never seen that, so that was very exciting, going from New Jersey to New Mexico.
Why Albuquerque? Why were your parents? Why did they stop at Albuquerque? Did they run out of gas? I mean, there's some true stories about it. People ran out of gas and they stayed in Albuquerque.
Well, we were on a bus, and I tell you what, we were looking for a new place to start all over again. And my uncle was living in, and my dad needed a job, and he worked on a farm in the North Valley collecting eggs. So we lived in the North Valley, and it was a plan to stop here. We had a place to stay. We were in the back of the house, and eventually we just built a life here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I stayed. After Valley, I went into the Air Force. I played basketball in the United States Air Force for 4 years. That was exciting for me. And then when I got out of the Air Force, I came back to UNM, became a Lobo, and
Actually, tried out for tried to play basketball for the Lobos.
I actually tried. I gave it a 2-week shot in 1962. And the Lobos were pretty good back then. They've always been good. And some years better than others. And I gave it a shot, and I realized that I wasn't good enough really to get a lot of playing time, so I decided I was going to play intramurals, and then I wound up joining the Air Force.
You said you played a lot in the military.
I played a lot in the military. I was on an Air Force base in Misawa, Japan. And we traveled all over the Far East. We would go to places like Okinawa and northern Japan, and we would play other Air Force teams and Navy teams. And I was on a team with a lot of ex-college players and ex-high school players. Meanwhile, my regular job was copying Morse code in the Air Force. So I'd be copying Morse code and then playing basketball in the evening. So that was a pretty good deal for me. I got to do my love of basketball, and I used the Air Force to further myself and got out, and I had a GI Bill. So the Air Force was a win-win for me.
Well, you come back to Albuquerque and kind of pick up, finish your school, and where do you start your teaching, and And
I started
how have
teaching.
all this all evolved to where you're at today?
Well, I love basketball, number one. Basketball was my love. I remember when you played at Clovis. I mean, I follow high school basketball in New Mexico.
No,
and Lobos
I've
and-
seen you. I mean, on my whole life. I mean, over my career, it seemed like you were always around. And then, like I said, 10 years ago was the first time I really was at Del Norte Fitness and in the Whirlpool, and I got to sit down and talk to you. And I said, I'm doing a show. Maybe if it's still in existence, I'd love to have you on one day. And you said you were so nice and said, yeah, I'd love to come on. And 10 years later, we got it done.
Yeah. Well, a lot's changed in the last 10 years, and then some things stay the same. Is that I've been a coach in APS for 50 years now. And I started out in elementary phys ed, and I found out that I could work with little kids and take them to a high level. And then I started putting on shows, believe it or not, in gymnastics. When I was at UNM, I had a tumbling class with Rusty Mitchell, and I realized I could teach kids gymnastics. So I used to take kids to Lobo games and do the halftime show. And back then it was different. When you did a halftime show back in the 70s, they would just hand you a mic and they give you a full 15 minutes, and we'd have the mats on the floor and have 40 kids spread out. And it was an exciting time. And it's evolved since then because they don't give you that 15 minutes anymore. They give you 6 minutes. And I figured it out that my jump rope team may do better than in gymnastics. So I started doing jump rope. And we started doing jump rope in the 90s, and we've been doing it ever since.
And how did the jump rope get involved? I mean, I came, I was at UNM when I was playing, and I started seeing, when I went to the games after I graduated, I would go and see these, and it was just amazing what got accomplished in those, 6 minutes. I guess it seemed like it was longer, but it was so much excitement happened in that 6 minutes at a time.
Well, that's the idea, is to make it like a three-ring circus. The idea, and when you make a presentation in jump rope, is get the kids in and out, different activities, and the main thing is the music. If we get some exciting music, and the fans can enjoy the music, watching kids do tricks, it makes a great atmosphere for everything. And we found out a long time ago in a PE class that kids love to jump rope, and they learn, they make mistakes, and they correct them, but they like to jump to the beat of the music. And when they put on a show, I always believe that the best thing you can do for kids is give them your attention. You got to look at them, you got to spend time with them, and if you do that, kids turn out pretty good. And I found out in phys ed classes and then with the jump rope team that the more that we spent time with them, we showed them to the public, the more exciting their life became, and they turned out pretty good. So jump rope is taken off. I will say one thing about jump rope, Steve, is that back in the 40s and 50s, if you remember, they used to have long rope, and they would have chants. Cinderella, dressed in yellow, went upstairs to kiss her fellow. I don't know if you remember that, but that's what jump rope was. Well, jump rope now is athletic. There's no more of that Cinderella stuff. Now kids are jumping in the air, they're doing half flips, they're doing double unders, they have a partner, and one's going under, one's going around. It's very athletic, rather than just musical to where we had a chant. But that was fun too.
Well, Jim, we're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week, and we're going to come back and see some highlights of the jump roping and move right along with this show.
Okay.
To us. Look at this. Luera, a little chip and a finish out in front, and a mistake by Servo. Ferguson top of the key, a little crossover dribble between his legs. Ferguson in trouble. Now Ferguson gonna fire at the buzzer, and he knocked it down. How about it?
Etta splits three, scoops at the buzzer, and scores, and is fouled. Reyes and Etta.
Sent across on the right foot, and Fuentes is going to put it away.
patiently get it into the paint.
Yeah, they ran a nice offense that time.
Crazy. They don't want Tapia to catch fire. Gonna pull up for another three. Off the window, yes!
Second, Spartan's got to beat the buzzer. He goes all the way, yes!
Drives, throws it away to Patterson. Here comes Patterson with 4 seconds. Patterson down the lane, lays it up, and he's on his way to Air Force. First one. Patterson, a terrific shooter, makes both of them. It is a 2-point lead. Ramos will launch it. If it goes, they win. If it does not, they do not. And a terrific game ends. Rio Rancho beats Atrisco Heritage 73-71.
Think about this, I don't have.
They get it to Gelate. Gelate's going to pull up on a jumper. Got it!
Left. Neely fires a corner three. It's an air ball. Rebound, Jesse Murphy taken away. Tenorio three.
Oh my gosh!
Tenorio for the win. Holy cow! Bertolino wins 59-58.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Jim Ciccarello, the head girls track coach at La Cueva High School, and you know we were talking about jump roping, and we got some steals here coming up, and let's kind of talk through them. And but here's the pit. I mean, here's some good pictures.
You know, we go to Lobo games, and that picture you're looking at right now is myself, Coach Jarvis, who works with me from Bandelier, and that's the principal. And the principal and the administrators and teachers, they come to the game, they take part in it, and they kind of like being excited to watch those little kids. Everybody jumps. We try and get everybody to jump. We get new shirts every year. There's nothing more exciting than a kid that gets a brand new jump rope shirt and goes to a performance and everybody watches them. And then we're at the Good Shepherd, and we go to places. We've been all over the state of New Mexico. We've been all over Albuquerque. We volunteer to go to shelter centers, mid-schools, high schools, and certainly Lobo games. And we go as a group, and we jump as a group, and we make people happy when they see little kids do things that they can't do.
Well, how do you get involved with this? You're very quiet, and it's kind of like unbelievable. There's old memories there of the floor.
Nothing like jumping rope on top of a Lobo.
In front of those people too.
In fact, we're going to jump again. I don't know. I haven't told you yet, but we're going to jump again next week. We're at a Lady Lobo game, and we're going to take 35 kiddos from Bandelier Elementary School, and we're going to cover the floor with them. And some of them it'll be brand new, and some of them have been there before. So it's an ongoing deal. We've already been to one Lobo game this year. We usually do one men game and one ladies game. And UNM has been pretty good about us getting in there. We only got 6 minutes, but we can do a lot in 6 minutes.
Well, Jim, I look at it. You've been doing this quite a while, 50 plus years.
51 years to be exact, Steve.
51 years. How many lives have you touched?
Well, I tried to figure that out. The numbers of kids that I taught in a PE class, that I taught in track and field, that I exposed jump rope to, and I also did private lessons with private clubs, and I have a number right around 65,000. Is that a high number?
That's quite it's astonishing that you have affected that many lives.
I think so. One-on-one like this too. I mean, I'm not talking about watching and working with 20,000 kids in front of me, but over the years, working with kids that I know by their name, Curtis, Judy, Lindsay, Steve, 65,000. Like, that's kind of been my life in a way. It's my family, the New Mexico athletes and students.
Well, I tell you, your passion comes out through your students. If nobody's ever seen one of these performances, it's like you said. I never thought about it, but it's like going to a circus. You're seeing things happen.
It's a three-ring circus.
And how do you get prepared for a performance like that? How does it begin?
Well, let me tell you how it began. First of all, you got to believe in physical fitness. And I can't think, I've done a lot of things in elementary PE class, and I can't think anything better than jump rope. Because jump rope is going to work your heart, it works your legs, it's a total body fitness. It works your hands. So in jump rope, it's very important you have one rope for every kid in the class. So if I have 30 kids, I got 30 ropes. Each kid has their own rope. Each kid starts jumping and making mistakes. What I do is I show them the basics. For example, we'll start with a side swing.
Now, do you jump to yourself? I mean,
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't. And I'm glad you asked that question, because I'm going to tell you something. Think about all the coaches that have done great things with kids over the years. They don't necessarily have to be a great athlete themselves. What they have to be is a teacher of the game, to be able to teach the athlete or the student what it takes to excel in that particular activity. And I researched jump rope, and I realized you had to teach them how to move a rope very easy, basics. I believe in basics. And I had to be able to move it with your hands before you even think about your feet. And there had to be a rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right. And then you started adding one trick at a time, a basic. And then you look like a skier. And then you look like a bell, ding dong, back and forth. And then you add something behind your back. And then you crisscross. And all the time you got music in the background. And the kids automatically pick up to the beat of the music. And so then I say, you know what? I want you kids to do a routine. What's that, coach? Well, I want you to go 30 seconds as fast as you can with all these tricks you've been practicing to the beat of the music, and do it without making a mistake. Yeah, I could do that, coach. Boom, 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 boom. People go, oh my God, look at that kid. In fact, I tell them, razzle and dazzle them. Go so fast and do something so complicated, they don't know what you're doing. Then we got them.
It's amazing. I mean, and the intensity the kids come out, and then also the enjoyment they get out of it. I mean, once they do a performance, it's really. I mean, if you're in the audience, it gets to you. I mean, I'm like, because I've jumped rope, okay, but not. I'm sitting there just going, hey, I've never had the skill level that they do it at.
I hope you're going to show this video I have in jump rope with Warwick Campbell. I'm not sure we have it. But Warwick Campbell jumped rope for me. He was a track athlete at Highland High School. And he does a lot of double unders, and he does a boxer, and he moves the rope so fast that you can hear it, but you can't see it. And he was the Mountain West champion in the triple jump. And Warwick is one of the fastest and best jumpers I ever had. And he's like 26 now. And he's no longer low. He already graduated. And he travels around the country, and he does talks on jump rope. And what I'm saying is that jump rope is fast and exciting, and you can take it to a very high level. But it starts with a side swing.
Well, Jim, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about your other career, your track and field, and something that you're very excited. We have a little video to show, and we'll come back and explore your history and track and field.
I love track and field.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We've got Jim Ciccarello here.
Thank you.
You know, great. Now we're going to talk about, I didn't realize. I mean, I know.
Shocking.
It is, because I just always thought of you as the jump rope, Dylan. I'd seen you around the track, and I just never put it together.
That's surprising.
And
I
you've
got a
been
lot of
doing
hats.
that, and that's your highlight of that's another highlight of your life.
Well, I have a lot of hats, and jump rope was one, but track and field has been my #1 activity in New Mexico.
Got some little pictures here.
That's our state 4x1 relay there. That was, and that's Lexi Keller, one of my state champion high jumpers, who's now at Colorado State. And I got to email Colorado State. That's Stephanie Brenner. She was a state champion in the hurdles. So all these kids, I keep contact with them. And that was my birthday. I put a funny hat on, and we celebrated my birthday at the track meet, and I sang to them, and that was an exciting day.
Okay.
There's a La Cueva. And phys ed. I all started with physical education. 45 years of teaching elementary phys ed. I learned a few things.
Hey, you got my attention. That's why you're amazed what you get out of kids.
That was a special award for me, the induction into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. And I got some relay batons down there. I got some jump rope. I got the 4 different high schools I coached at. It's all in that picture if you look. Manzano, Sandia, Highland. These are some of my assistant coaches. You got to have great assistant coaches. And I got a very good relationship. Coach Martinez, Coach Medley, Coach Sanchez, Coach Van Dorn. These are all coaches that I've worked with, and I've worked with others. And that's what it looks like when you're on a podium at the state track meet. When you get the whole team up there. When you get the whole team on a podium, you affected many, many lives. It's one thing to have one athlete that wins a state championship. But when the team wins, if you're at Clovis High School and that whole Clovis team is on a podium, they share it. At La Cueva,
Don't
same
forget
deal.
it.
Never.
And it stays with your memories.
Yeah, I went to Valley High School, and we never got to the blue trophy. Third in the state was good, but there's nothing like that blue trophy, and you're at the top of the podium. That's the most exciting time for a high school athlete.
Well, we have a little bit of, what is it, 4x4? Help me out there. We got a little film on something that you're very proud of here.
Well, yeah, I try and think of some of the highlights that I've had. And the 4x1 relay this year at the state meet, this is us out in lane 8. And the reason we're out in lane 8, we didn't have very good seed time. But check it out. The top team's in the middle lane, but look at the handoff. In lane 8, Sarah Mann is going to hand the thing to Lexi Keller. Watch this perfect handoff. And then watch her run that straightaway to hand to Crosby. Crosby Grigsby's going to get another great handoff. We're overachieving with our handoffs. We don't have the speed of some of those other kiddos. But what we do have is we had the perfect handoffs. So everybody's looking at the middle lanes, but if you look at the outside lane, Izzy Swanson just got the baton, and she's got a little bit of a lead on the state champion 100-meter dash girl from Sandia, but they're not going to get her. Bam! We hit the finish line. We broke our own school record. It was an amazing time.
I'll tell you, you said something about the track and field at the state tournament. I mean, it's full. A lot of participants go to that. The whole I guess it'd be the west side of the stadium is packed when you go to those track meets.
Well, the state track meet is the biggest event. Basketball is big too, but state track and field, they got it on.
Well, they have 2
different
weekends. I mean,
yeah.
They have smaller divisions.
Like small divisions, then the big divisions on the second weekend. And the stands are filled. There'll be 10,000 people in those stands. And when kids get in the starting blocks and they look up there and they see them, all those people up there, you know, they can feel, you know, they get an adrenaline rush. And that's why you'll see that they overachieve a lot of times at the state track meet, because there's so many people watching them and so many people involved, and the excitement of the whole atmosphere is just really exciting. And if the weather's perfect, that's when you get state record times and state jumps and relays that do amazing things.
You know, it's almost perfect timing. Track starts here, or I mean, I'm sure you've been working out, but I mean,
Yes, we have.
track meets are starting to come up here pretty quick.
Well, there's a couple indoor meets going on right now. People in Albuquerque may not realize, some do, that there's an indoor track facility at the convention center. It's a track that was moved here from Los Angeles, and the city of Albuquerque bought it for $500,000. And it's one of the nicest tracks in the United States. And that's why they've been able to bring in NCAA championships and USA track and field meets here in Albuquerque.
Well, you know, we're February 9th. We're actually John Holland and his group, we're going to be doing that, televising that on Proview networks. But you know, it's amazing how track is still a very great sport in high school, and how it keeps. It's a tough sport. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, because it's really you and your body, and then you compete against somebody else.
Yeah. Well, you know, track and field takes the body to the limit. You can't hold back. In basketball, you can sometimes hold back and slough off a little bit, take a little bit of a break. But in track and field, you're running a 100-meter dash and you're going hard.
Basketball is a team sport. I'm just saying, but in track, you're
pushed to the limit.
Pushing your limit.
I mean, the guy next to you, he's trying to beat you, and he's going hard. And if you don't go hard, then you're looking second, third, or worse. If you want to be a champion, and everybody wants to be a champion, that's the excitement of track and field, is to be a champion, to get up on that top podium. And everybody, you got a medal around your neck, and everybody's taking photos, and it's kind of exciting. You know, the workouts ain't that exciting, Steve.
All right.
The meets are.
Well, Jim, you know, I just want to, again, thanks for, you know, being with Proview Networks, coming on, and I got to have you back on, because we just barely hit your accomplishments, and we need to go in detail, maybe break it down into one. You know what? Let's have it after your track season and recap your track season this year.
Okay. Maybe I could come up with a video that might be exciting for you.
Well, I tell you, just having you is exciting. And so I just wanted to, hey, thank you for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and we'll be glad to have you back.
Thank you, Steve. It was nice of you to invite me here.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we